Okay, are you ready for the whirlwind? Because we're about to move real quick, ladies and gentlemen. The Feast of Firstfruits. Now, I want to start out because there's a lot of places that I can start, but I want to start out here. And this is to help to bring an understanding. In the book of Malachi, that should be Malachi 3:8. This is what it says. Will a man rob God? Yet you have robbed me, but you say, wherein have we robbed thee? And notice here, I have underlined the word offerings. It says in tithe and offerings. Now, one of the things you'll find in the churches have taught people the importance of tithing. Most churches are. And oftentimes with verse 9, the fear of being cursed. Let me tell you something, folks. There's a lot of people in churches that are under a curse because they are falsely assuming that to be under the law is a curse. But how many of you know the curse of the law is the violation of the law, not the keeping of the law? So in essence, the one who is saying that we are cursed because we try to keep the law are really the ones who are cursed because they violate the law, which is why they get angry and belligerent and mad and ready to just curse you out. Because see, that's the spirit of their father. Now, if I come out swinging, that's all right. But I think people need to hear things the way they are. We're not under a curse. Those who don't keep Yah's commands are under a curse. All these curses will come upon you. And let me tell you something, tithing is not going to keep a curse away. Tithing is simply a portion of the commands. So you can tithe all day long. That's not going to keep the curse off of a person. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is not a message about tithing. It's a message about offering. And specifically, I want people to understand the importance of what is this offering? In the churches, we heard tithe and offerings, but the emphasis was placed on what? On the tithe. The average church person doesn't even know what the offerings are. They think an offering is anything they give above a tithe. That's what we were taught. Whatever you give above the 10th, brother, that's an offering. Well, no, Father has specific offerings that he has designed in his word. And let me tell you something, when we follow the instructions that the Father gives us, how many of you know that there are promises that is associated with it? It's not about being cursed. It's about walking in the fullness of the blessing. That's what this is about. Not trying to keep from being cursed. If you want to keep from being under a curse, just simply obey his commands. That's it. And in his commands is nobody's going to have to tell you to tithe because you understand the commands. You see it for yourself. If somebody's got to tell you what the commands say, that's an indication you don't know what the commands say. And if you don't know what the commands say, you're already in deep trouble. So you have to learn what the commands are because when we talk about the word becoming flesh, it wasn't Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. It was the word that was with the Father in the beginning. That is the word. Yeshua is a living word. The word that was in the wilderness with the children of Israel. They was the first church. All right. I think I've got a lot of ground to cover. You are cursed with a curse, for you have robbed me, even this whole nation. Bring you all the tithe into the storehouse, that there may be meat in my house, and prove me now herewith, saith YeHoVaH of hosts, if I will not open the windows. And what does he want to do? Let me tell you something. Father want you to be blessed more than you want to be blessed. The challenge is that he's set and established guidelines on how to walk in the fullness of it. Yeshua gave us a clue when he says, seek first the kingdom of YeHoVaH and his righteousness, and all this stuff will be added unto you. And he gave a list. The heathens are concerned about what they're going to eat, what they're going to wear. Look at the lilies of the field. Solomon in all of his glory was not arrayed like any of those. Look at the sparrow, how the Father feeds them. You don't know the number of hair on your head, but he knows. He knows when one hair hits the ground. Don't you know that he knows how to take care of you? And so he says, seek me first. Well, how do I seek you first? Get in his commands. Once we understand his commands, we're seeking him, and he's revealing to us, just like he called the children of Israel around the mountain, said, let me tell you how to walk in the fullness of the blessings in this relationship. I know you've been in the world, in Egypt. I know you've been under bondage. I know you've been under a lot of stress. I know you've not been able to think for yourself, walk for yourself. You've been told what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. But now I'm bringing you free. I'm setting you free. And now in order for you to walk in the fullness of this freedom, here's how you do it. I want to show you how to come in and out of my presence. I want to show you how to relate to your brothers and sisters. I want to show you how to love me and to love yourself and love your neighbor as you love yourself. The way people treat you is a reflection on what they feel about themselves. If they're getting angry at you, if they don't like you, if they have an issue with you, if they want to hurt you and curse you out, that's because you bring something to them that causes them to reflect on what they see in you, and it's despised. Because how can you have this joy? You don't serve Jesus Christ. You keep the law. You're supposed to be under the curse. We're supposed to be blessed. You're the one seems to be blessed. We feel like we're under curse, but you are supposed to be the one under the curse. How can you have the joy? How can you walk in the fullness of life? How can you love me and I'm treating you the way I'm treating you? Because I know the commands. I'm not going to treat you like you treat me. I'm going to love you in spite of yourself. You see. And if you need help, I'll be there to help you even though you cut my throat. Love my enemies. Pray for those who wrong me. That's living out the Torah. It's not just, hey, here's instructions in davening. It's about walking in this, because now you're going to see the fruit of it. And this fruit from the crown of your head to the sole of your feet is going to bring health to your bones, to your body. It really is. Because the peace of the Almighty is in you. And when that peace is in you, what it does is that it kicks out stress. It casts out fear. It eliminates anxiety. It brings forth joy. And the joy of YeHoVaH is your strength. And as you rejoice in him and the strength of the Almighty, come on, folks. That's life. He is life. It's not your church or your denomination or your pastor. It's his word. It's his word that brings life. And the more people know how to get in that themselves, this is where you all come in. This is why we need to be equipped. We've given people what the church say. We've given people what the denomination say. But we need to give people what the word says, what Almighty says. And connect people to him, so instead of every time they got a problem, they run into you, they know how to get on their knees themselves. They know how to call upon the name of YeHoVaH. And I'm not talking about calling on the name of the Lord God. Well, he know who I'm talking to, so do all them other deities. See if I will not open the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there should not be room enough to receive it. And if you don't understand agricultural, you won't understand Malachi 3:8, because this is not raining pennies. And can you imagine if silver dollars came from heaven? That's a problem. See if I will not rebuke the devourer for your sake. Who's the devourer? It's not the devil. It's those things. And anybody who've ever tried to plant a garden, especially where I come from, when you see butterflies near your garden and you got greens, you got a problem. Because they will eat the greens, when the holes start forming. Next thing you know, you got all these worms because they've laid their eggs, and the eggs, the larvas, and the worms are eating your produce. the locusts that come in and devour a crop of locusts can come in and just devour a whole crop. And next thing you know, the people is looking at where'd the food go? It's gone. Squirrels, birds eating your plums and eating your figs and eating your dates. Just bugs and ants, everything forming in the tree, killing the trees. Those are the devourers that the people of Israel had to deal with. They weren't concerned about the devil. You notice you don't even find since the Garden of Eden, you hardly ever see the word devil in the Torah. You see it a lot in the New Testament. But you don't see it. They weren't worried about the devil. The devil wasn't their problem. Their problem was him. That's who our problem is. We need to be more afraid of him than of the devil. And people are scared of the devil when the Father says he's been placed under your feet. So we're not talking about devourers as far as devils are concerned, because the devil, he doesn't even have a role in this. He's already defeated. When Yeshua said it is finished, he was done. So he is not your problem, ladies and gentlemen. The devil is not your problem. We don't wrestle against flesh and blood. We wrestle against spirits. We deal with people who are under the influence of the enemy. But we are to walk in the strength and the love and the word of the Almighty. And when we walk in the strength, love, and power of the Almighty, guess what? Our love toward those who hate us is like putting hot coals on their heads. That's what the Bible says. And so we're walking in power, we're walking in love, and we're not letting the stuff that people do disrupt our spirit anymore. We're not concerned about what people think about us. We're more concerned about pleasing him than pleasing them. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's where we need to be. And so this devourer is not the devil. These are locusts and worms and pestilence that comes and devour a crop. How many of you know the devil was not out there taking the pomegranates off the trees and smashing them on the ground? He really wasn't. All right. Says, neither shall your vine cast her fruit before the time in the field, says YeHoVaH of hosts. He's going to rebuke the devourer. But here's the part I like. All nations shall call you blessed. See, whether you know it or not, a nation is a people. A nation is a person. Jacob was a person who became a nation. Abraham was a person who became the father of many nations. See, a nation is a person. And when you see this here, and all nations shall call you blessed, for you shall be a delightsome land, says YeHoVaH of hosts. Of course, he's talking about the land of Israel and the people of the land, but those who join themselves with Israel. Are you with me? And on the 15th, Leviticus 23:6, on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread. Unto YeHoVaH 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. We're in that season. And the first day you shall have a holy convocation. We did that last week Thursday. We'll do the last one on this week Wednesday. You shall do no servile work therein, but you shall offer an offering made by fire unto YeHoVaH 7 days. And the seventh day, which is Wednesday, is a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein. And YeHoVaH spoke unto Moses, saying, Leviticus 23:10, speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, when you be come into the land which I give you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, you shall bring a sheaf of the first fruit of your harvest into the priest. And he shall wave the sheaf before YeHoVaH to be accepted for you. On the morrow after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it. And you shall offer that day when you wave the sheaf an he lamb without blemish of the first year for a burnt offering unto YeHoVaH. And the meat offering thereof shall be 2/10 deals of fine flour mingled with oil, an offering made by fire unto YeHoVaH for a sweet savor. And the drink offering thereof shall be of wine, the fourth part of a hin. And you shall eat neither bread nor parched corn nor green ears unto the selfsame day that you've brought an offering unto your Elohim. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. And so he says that this offering is a very important offering because before you can actually eat of the bread or parched corn or green ears, you must present this particular offering. But you won't hear much about this offering in the church circles that we've come out of. And in many cases, because Passover has seemingly taken over the whole 7+ Pesach, people have a tendency to understand Passover, but really don't understand the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And I've had to clear up so many in understanding that Passover is not a 24-hour period. Pesach is a sacrifice. It is done at a certain time of the day, on the evening of the 14th day of the Aviv. The Aviv is the condition of a crop. Now, the moment the Babylonians changed the name Aviv to Nisan, Nisan doesn't have a meaning. It's the name of a month. And typically people will say, well, that month coincides with the March or April, and now we associate a time period, a month, to a particular festival, and therefore lose the meaning. We lose the meaning of searching for barley and understanding the beginning of the year and all of the things that is associated with the name that the Father gave it, but loses that meaning when you add another name to it. During Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread, there are actually 3 festivals being celebrated. Passover, Pesach, unleavened bread, matzah, and firstfruits. 3 times in a year. Now, this is 3 times in a year shall all your males appear before YeHoVaH your Elohim in the place which he shall choose, in the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and in the Feast of Weeks, and in the Feast of Tabernacles. Now, you need to understand, even though Yom Kippur is the holiest of all the feast days, Yom Kippur was not a pilgrimage feast. People were not required to go up to Jerusalem for Yom Kippur, nor were they required to go up to Jerusalem for the Feast of Trumpets. There were certain things that they were required to go up for, and there was a particular reason why they was required to go up. He says, in the place he shall choose, in the Feast of Unleavened Bread, in the Feast of Weeks, and in the Feast of Tabernacles, and they shall not appear before YeHoVaH empty. He's saying, listen, when you come up, you're bringing your first fruits. You're coming to present not only yourself to me, but you're coming to present the best that you have to me, because you're trusting me to provide everything you need. When we talk about my God will supply all of my needs according to his riches and glory in Jesus Christ, what does that actually mean? How can he supply all of your needs if you're not meeting his requirements? I mean, think about it. We're made in the image and likeness of the Almighty. If we have people who work for us, people who are living in our households, who violate our rules, violate our commands, violate the rules of our house, and then they want something from us, how do we feel about that? You got an employee who's stealing from you. Come in when they feel like it and always got an excuse and always need time off, and then they want a raise. How do you feel about that? But yet, Father's not supposed to have any feelings whatsoever. Just give me what I want, old man. Because I believe in Jesus. That's all I need. Father, yeah, sure. I think I need to send Peter to your house. He needs to explain to you how this works. Proverbs 3:9. Now, most of us understand Proverbs 3:5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. And then in verse 9, honor YeHoVaH with your substance and with the first fruits of all your increase. And check, I got some stuff I want to show you. So if I'm rushing, but I'm coming back here. All the gospel narratives, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, give us great detail of what happened on Feast of Firstfruits. But you never see the name Firstfruits in the gospel. It's not there. This is why the church don't know it. It's there, but it's not mentioned. You see it, but you don't see it. A person unfamiliar with the Torah and the feast will not have a clue that first fruits is occurring in the Gospels because the word is not mentioned. Paul, an Israelite from the tribe of Benjamin and a Torah observant believer, informs us that Yeshua was our first fruits. That's what he says in 1 Corinthians 15. For if the dead rise not, then is not Messiah raised. And if Messiah be not raised, your faith is in vain. You are yet in your sins. Then they also which are fallen asleep in Messiah are perished. If in this life only we have hope in Messiah, we are all men most miserable. But now is Messiah risen from the dead and become the first fruits of them that sleep. See, Yeshua is our Passover. He is our Pesach. Yeshua also dealt with sin. He dealt with the leaven in our lives. He delivered us from the power of sin. So he became our matzah. He became our unleavened bread. And he says to us that we are to purge out all of the leaven that is in our lives, which is the things that causes the wrath of YeHoVaH to come upon all mankind. See, Colossians says because of these things, the wrath of YeHoVaH is stored up. Because of fornication and immorality and all types of lying and perversion. Those are the things that is going to bring the wrath of the Almighty. But because Yeshua has paid the price for us, then now we need to purge ourselves from all those things that is going to bring the wrath of the Almighty, because the wages of sin is death. It doesn't matter whether you are saved or not saved. The wages of sin is death. Don't matter if you go to church or not. The wages of sin is death. Don't matter if you say you believe in Jesus or not. The wages of sin is death. And those who live in sin, those who live in unrighteousness, is going to have to face that penalty. This is why the judgment. See, Yeshua is coming back looking for a people who have purged themselves of the leaven. He's looking for a people who have gotten rid of sexual immorality, rid of lying, rid of deception, rid of misusing people and mistreating people, and rid of all of the things that the wrath of God is coming for. He's coming for, looking for a spotless bride, a bride that is without spot, without blemish, without wrinkle. How do you get to be that way? Now, a quick illustration. I hate to point this out, but hey, when you come into the light, like right now, I'm in the light. Some of you all, you can see me a little bit lighter, and those of you online. But something the light does is that it exposes the flaws. Now, we've got these beautiful curtains back here, but when I turn the light off, I don't see the wrinkles and the creases. I'm showing it. But the moment the lights come on, you see the wrinkles. You see the creases. You see where the ironing need to take place. See, when we come in the light, the wrinkles that he's coming back looking for a bride that don't have those. I'm so glad he's not coming back for those curtains, because they will be left behind. Do you follow what I'm saying? He wants us to get these wrinkles and these blemishes out of our lives. Don't act like we don't know they're there when he exposed them to us. And I don't care if it comes from a drunk on the bar or whether it comes from a righteous person, down the street. Doesn't matter where they come from. If the wrinkle is exposed, deal with it. Don't kill the messenger. Receive the message. So Yeshua is our first fruits. For since by man came death, by man came also resurrection of the dead. For as in Adam all die, even so in Messiah shall all be made alive. But every man in his own order, Messiah, the first fruits. Afterwards, they that are Messiahs at his coming. That's us. Paul writes in Romans, and if Messiah be in you, the body is dead because of sin, but the spirit is life because of righteousness. But if the spirit of him that raised up Yeshua from the dead dwell in you, he that raised up Messiah from the dead shall also quicken your mortal bodies by his spirit that dwelleth in you. But ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the spirit. So now we see the spirit of the first fruits, Messiah being the first fruits, and now the spirit, which is the first fruits, and that spirit is given to us. Tomorrow I'm going to be dealing with the message on releasing the power. See, too many people are waiting for the power to come down. Oh God, send your glory. Rain on us, Holy Spirit. That's the stuff they do it in church. Those of us who are filled with the Spirit is not waiting on the Spirit to rain on us. More about that tomorrow. But ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves grown within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body. So what is it about first fruit that is so critical? Are you ready? Because I'm about to share with you. So those of you who are just joining in, make sure you text, email, tweet, Twitter, whatever it is you do, call all the members of the family together and get ready for this. I even encourage people to find those people who owe you money. Make sure you send them this teaching. At creation, YeHoVaH set in place his appointed times where he would meet his creation throughout eternity, and he and his creation would celebrate one another. On the fourth day of creation, YeHoVaH established the set-apart times for his set-apart people. In verse 14 of Genesis chapter 1, and YeHoVaH said, let there be light in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And YeHoVaH made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And Elohim set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth and to rule over the day and over the night and to divide the light from darkness. And Elohim saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. Now, the word that he uses there is the word moed, signs and seasons. There are a couple of words there. And so this moed, we get the word moedim, moedah, which actually is an appointment. At the very offset of creation, Father established in the firmament these signs by saying that, listen, there's a certain time that I want to meet with my creation. We see this happening with Adam and Mr. and Mrs. Adam. We see this happening in the garden because he comes to Mr. and Mrs. Adam. Understand that Adam called his wife Eve. YeHoVaH didn't. You see. But that's a whole nother story. Those of you who participated and saw the teaching that I did on Marriage God's Way, I'm telling you, if you want your household to be blessed, folks, you need to see that teaching. Because there are too many people, you're just going through relationships. You don't understand the value of the mate the Father has placed in your life. Too many people discount their husband or they discount their wife. You know, when a person say, I do to you, and they're willing to get naked in a bed with you, forgive me, I'm just telling you like it is. That is the most intimate thing a person can do. They're letting you look at every flaw. Everything about themselves is exposed to you and you to them. You can't get no more nakier than that. This is Adam, Mr. and Mrs. Adam. YeHoVaH made them that way. So when a person is willing to expose themselves to you on that level, that is not something to take lightly. You see, that that person is telling you, I'm willing to give you all. I'm not holding nothing back. You see it all. There's some stuff that when I look in the mirror, I don't even like when I see it. And I wish I could hide this from you, but you see it. And as you grow older together, you see more of it. Both ways now. Because I think sometimes the brothers forget that they lose a little hair. They get a little gut. They looking at the woman. It's like, okay, you done changed. So have you, buddy. Quiet as it's kept. But that's something powerful. And the Father established from creation a time to meet with his creation. He met with Mr. and Mrs. Adam. He fellowshiped with them. And that's what he want to do with you and I. He want to do that with us as husband and wife, as man and woman. Do you understand? So he set this appointment time, a fixed time or season. These are the definitions for this word, specifically a festival. In Genesis chapter 1, YeHoVaH established the festival seasons. He doesn't bring it into play until we see it in the book of Exodus and Leviticus. But he establishes it at creation. Conventionally, a year by implication, an assembly has convened for a definite purpose, technically the congregation. By extension, the place of meeting, also a signal as appointed beforehand, appointed sign, appointed time, set apart time. We're in a set apart time right now. But the Father established this at creation. It's a place of solemn assembly. All of these words are found in this one word, sign and season, or sign, or season, I'm sorry. And we get the word feast, appointed. Now, I didn't write these. Anybody who's got a Strong's Concordance, you can go and look these words up and they're all there. So we see the word feast in Genesis chapter 1. We don't see the word feast. We see a word that translates into feast, or that is defined as a feast, a festival, an assembly, and even the word congregation, an appointed time, season. Even the word synagogue comes from this word. Although YeHoVaH established the set-apart times on the fourth day of creation, it is not until the Exodus from Egypt 2,500 years later does he implement the set-apart times. 3 times you shall keep a feast unto me in the year. Now we know that there were 7 feasts and the weekly feast, which is the Sabbath day. But he says 3 times you shall keep a feast unto me in the year. You shall keep the feast of unleavened bread. You shall eat unleavened bread 7 days as I commanded you in the time appointed, the month of the Aviv. For in it you came out of Egypt, and none shall appear before me empty-handed. So when you come up to the place that I've appointed, this appointed place at this appointed time, and you assemble yourselves as a congregation for my feast, don't come with your hands out. Don't come with your hands closed. Don't come empty. And the Feast of Harvest, the first fruits of your labor, the first fruits of your labor, which you have sown in the field, and the feast of ingathering, which is in the end of the year, when you have gathered in your labors out of the field. 3 times in a year, all your males shall appear before YeHoVaH Elohim. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread, neither shall the fat of my sacrifice remain until the morning. The first of the first fruits of your land shall you bring unto the house of YeHoVaH your Elohim. 6 days you shall work, but on the 7th day you shall rest. In end time and in harvest you shall rest. Should be in rearing. And you shall observe the feast of weeks, of the first fruits of the wheat harvest, and the feast of ingathering at the year's end. Thrice in the year shall your men children appear before YeHoVaH Elohim, the Elohim of Israel. For I will cast out the nations before you. I will enlarge your borders. Neither shall any man desire your land when you shall go up to appear before YeHoVaH your Elohim thrice, 3 times in the year. Now there's some promises there. 1, verse 34, chapter 34, verse 24, he says, I will cast out the nations before you. You see, in the Proverbs and in the Psalms, the Bible lets us know that when a man fears YeHoVaH, he makes his enemies at peace with him. When we delight ourselves in his word and his commands, he even gives us the desires of our heart. He says, I will enlarge your borders, neither shall any man desire your land. In other words, how many of you, when you go on vacation, you go through all of this stuff? You want to make sure that the newspaper don't deliver the newspaper. You don't want the newspapers piled up at your door. You want to make sure that the mailman don't put mail in your box and got stuff overflowing. You want to make sure that somebody is checking on your house to make sure that everything is ordered. Why? Because you don't want people to come in and take your stuff while you gone. Father says you don't have to worry about that. When you come to see me, when you come up, I'm going to make sure I'm going to be, you know, that angel that he put around the garden to keep Adam, Mr. and Mrs. Adam, from getting back. He says, I got you. I got your protection. When you go up, people are not going to desire your stuff. They're not going to come and try to break in your house because I'm watching over it. He says, when you shall go up, appear before YeHoVaH, your Elohim, 3 times in the year. Don't worry about it. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't put the necessary precautions in place. You don't just leave your house and leave the door wide open with a son out in front. Say, hey, I'm gone for 2 weeks. Y'all help yourself. Solomon writes concerning the first fruits, honor YeHoVaH with your substance and with the first fruits of all your increase. And now I add verse 10, which is in there. I don't add it. It's there. I just didn't show it to you last time because there's a promise that's associated with the first fruits. So shall your barns be filled with plenty. Your presses shall burst out with new wine. See, this is what Malachi was talking about. Says when you bring in the tithe and the offerings, YeHoVaH is going to watch over your stuff. He's going to rebuke the devourer. Your fruit will not cast forth its fruit before its time. That's what's in your barns. Your grapes shall not fall off the vine. There's your wine. See, Proverbs is simply saying what Malachi is saying. Hey guys, y'all messed up. Y'all didn't do it. And the reason why you all are going through all this stuff that you're going through right now is because you done stole from God. You've robbed him. What did you rob him from? You robbed him in the tithe. You robbed him in the offering. You got to, like some messianics today, well, you know, the priest, that's for the Levites. YeHoVaH did not tell his people to give their tithes to the priests. He said the tithe belonged to me, to him. That's what he says. These are my feasts. They're not Jewish feasts. They're mine. And the tithe you ought to bring, I'll determine. Well, we'll see that in a minute. Not only did Solomon instruct us to bring the first fruits, but he brought first fruits himself. 1 Kings 9:25, and 3 times in a year did Solomon offer burnt offerings and peace offerings upon the altar, which he built unto YeHoVaH. And he burned incense upon the altar that was before YeHoVaH. So he finished the house. Even the prophet Ezekiel weighs in on the promises of first fruit. Ezekiel 44:30. And the feast of all the first fruits of all things and every oblation of all, of every sort of your oblation shall be the priest. You shall also give unto the priest the first of your dough, that he may cause the blessings to rest upon your house. Ezekiel says when you do this, the priest is going to release a blessing. If you'll notice in Malachi chapter 2, if those of you who got beyond Malachi chapter 3, in order to get to Malachi chapter 3, you really need to go through Malachi 1 and 2 in order to understand what Malachi 3 is talking about. Most of the preachers don't have a clue what Malachi 1 and 2 say. All they know is Malachi 3:10, bring the tithe. You see. But Malachi 2 says, listen, when the priest pronounces a blessing over you, I'm going to take dung and smear it in his face. See, here's the deal, folks. People get scared of Yah's people. This is why Aaron made the golden calf. The people demanded that he do it. He got afraid of them. Moses was gone. The preachers today, they're afraid of people leaving, so they're not going to preach on certain things. They know about the Sabbath. They know about the feast. They'll preach the feast times to raise an offering. You'll see it on TBN. You'll see Mike Murdoch, and you'll see Muncie and all these other people, and what's this, Perry Stone, all of them. They bring elaborate services, and you say, well, look at they're teaching on the feast. No, they're not. They're using the feast to fleece. They're taking what the Bible says about first fruits, but they're not teaching the people about first fruits, and they're not teaching the people to keep the commands that Father is telling them that they're supposed to keep. In one breath, they're saying you need to bring the first fruits. In another breath, you don't need to keep them laws. Well, wait a minute. The law and the first fruit is in the law. So if I don't need to keep the law, why am I bringing the first fruits? And the Messianic get excited. Oh, if only he just knew the Sabbath. He know what he knows. They know what they know. And they're going to preach the portion of what they know to stay on TV. So they preach the feast to fleece. Yeah, I said it. Can't teach people to be blessed by keeping a part of Jehovah's commands that just so happens to bless you. You have to preach what's going to bless the people. And if the people are not willing to be blessed by doing what the word says, and you're telling them that they need to give to be blessed, how many of you know we gave and gave and gave and gave and gave and gave and didn't see the blessings that they were talking about? Some of us gave our electric money, our gas money, our rent money. I've seen more prosperity believing members of churches get evicted from more places than I care to shake a stick at. They're the first one in the offering line, trying to give their way out of debt. Listen, you can't give your way out of debt. I know that's what they teach. You cannot give your way out of debt. The way you get rid of debt is you pay your bills. And if you're wise, you won't make bills that you can't pay. In Leviticus 23, after YeHoVaH gave the commandments concerning the feast days, YeHoVaH said to Moshe, these are the feasts of YeHoVaH, which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations, to offer an offering made by fire unto YeHoVaH, a burnt offering and a meat offering, a sacrifice and drink offering, everything upon his day. Now notice this. These are the feasts of YeHoVaH, which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations, to offer an offering made by fire unto YeHoVaH, a burnt offering, a meat offering, a sacrifice, and a drink offering, everything upon his day. You can't give an offering on the day YeHoVaH told you, didn't say give it. I mean, the priest just couldn't go up in there and, there were some fellows who decided that they were going to go and burn incense before the Lord. Now, the Christians know this is strange fire. No, what they did is that they brought incense and they weren't supposed to. They're up in the holy, in the holy place. They just go, ooh, I love the way this incense smells. I know God will love it too. Mm-hmm. Now Aaron in there serving in the temple, see his boys laid out at the hand of the Almighty who killed them. And he said, listen, you keep doing what I told you to do, or you gonna join them. I got somebody else to take care of them. And then he gave specific instructions. Make sure you tell the people they can't come up in here anytime they feel like it. See, if you're going to bring the first fruit offering, you need to bring the first fruit offering when the first fruit offering is supposed to be brung. Are you with me? Everything upon his day, besides the Sabbaths of YeHoVaH, and besides your gifts, and beside all your vows, and beside all your free will offerings which you give unto YeHoVaH. So what happens to the first fruit offerings? Numbers 18:8. And YeHoVaH spoke unto Aaron, behold, I also have given you the charge of my heave offerings of all the hallowed things of the children of Israel. Unto you have I given them by reason of the anointing, and to your sons by an ordinance forever. Who gave it to them? YeHoVaH gave it to them. He told the people, you bring my offerings. Now what he does with it is his business. He didn't say, shall a man rob the priests? Shall a man rob the Levites? He says, shall a man rob God? Well, how have we robbed you? Through the tithe and through the offerings. But here's the other thing, ladies and gentlemen. Because the priest's responsibility, the priests and the prophets, the Bible tells us, is to teach the people the difference between that which is holy and that which is profane. Are you hearing me? They're to teach the people between the holy and the profane. The people are supposed to know. They're supposed to teach the people between that which is clean and that which is unclean. And so the people now, when you have a people, see the priests in the day of the temple and in the day of the tabernacle. Now in the tabernacle, it was a whole different ball game because during the tabernacle time, the glory of YeHoVaH was present. After that Sinai event and those serpents in the wilderness, YeHoVaH opened up the ground and 3,000 people died and he sent venomous snakes and they had to put up the bronze statue and people who looked upon it would be delivered and healed. After those events, the folks, I think they got the message. This God who delivered us out of Egypt, he don't play. For those of you who don't understand the medical symbol, anybody ever seen the medical symbol with the serpent around the pole? It's interesting how pharmakia has taken certain things from the Bible, but here's the deal. The people understood. Now, the priest during the tabernacle time didn't have much problem with the priest after the people. The biggest problem they had is when Moses went up in the mountain and they wanted something to worship and Aaron made them some idols. They murmured in the wilderness and Father stopped the murmuring. So during the tabernacle time, the glory, the presence of the Almighty, the pillar of cloud, the pillar of fire by day, the pillar of fire by night, the cloud by day, the physical, visible presence of the Almighty was seen. During the temple time, it's a different ball game. Because as long as the Ark of the Covenant was in that place, people understood. But after the death of Solomon, there was this huge split and the Ark was gone. The Ark never returned to the temple. So now the priests have to appeal to the people to bring what YeHoVaH required. And the priests got to a point to where they had no power, there was no glory. So they appeared to the people. The people in their hard-hearted stiff-neckedness decided, why should we bring our hard-earned money and give you guys the best of our crops and the best of our flocks? What's God going to do? And so the priests began to yield to the demands of the people. They began to take whatever the people brought. The Lord bless you. Thank you, brother. Praise the Lord, we're going to eat today. And the people the priests stopped holding the people accountable for what YeHoVaH required of the people. And here it is, they allowed the people to bring the halted, the wilted, the lame, the blind. They brought anything they wanted. That's what Malachi is all about. And now they bring in these crippled animals to offer sacrifices and giving YeHoVaH what is left over. And the priest is going to stand there and bless them. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord calls his face and Father says, shut up. How dare you let these people do this? I'm going to take your blessing. I'm going to take the animal of that animal, the dung, and just smear it on your face. I'm going to turn your blessings into a curse. Now, if you got some chutzpah, you tell the people, you all are robbing me. You're stealing from me. I'm going to curse you with a curse. You see, how long will you do these things? And so, Father commanded the people to bring the offering. He says, these are the offerings that you are to present to me. He says, you are to come up 3 times a year. And you are, don't come in my presence empty-handed. So the people came. Now he says, Aaron, here's what, because see, YeHoVaH can't use your money. He doesn't need your animals, but he's got people that he has established to stand between him and the people, to minister to the people and to minister to him. You got people say, well, you know, we're all priests. And that is true. But how many of you are priests in the capacity of ministering to the people on behalf of the Almighty? How many of you are taking the time, who have committed and dedicated yourself to disciple, to train, to equip, to minister, to raise the resources to get the word out? Yeah, you're priests. What are you doing with your priesthood? Other than withholding. See, people use that stuff. It's the same excuse, because Moses said, I wish that all YeHoVaH's people were prophets. YeHoVaH has called us all to be a kingdom of priests. But that doesn't eliminate his commands. And even with the priestly system and the Levitical system, the Father established an order in which that was to operate. And there were some folks who decided they would go against the order. They did it once. This shall be thine of the most holy things reserved from the fire. Every oblation of theirs, every meat offering of theirs, every sin offering of theirs, and every trespassing offering of theirs, which they shall render unto me, shall be most holy. Now you all watch what you do with it. He gave them specific instructions. So they render unto me shall be most holy for you and for your sons. In the most holy place shall you eat it. Every male shall eat it. It shall be holy unto you. Why? Because it is holy. And this is thine, the heave offering of their gift, with all the wave offerings of the children of Israel. I have given them unto you and to your sons and to your daughters with you, by a statute forever. Everyone that is clean in your house shall eat it. All the best of the oil, all the best of the wine, of the wheat, the first fruits of them which they shall offer unto YeHoVaH. See, it hasn't changed. It belongs to YeHoVaH. Them have I given you, and whatsoever is first ripe in the land, which they shall bring unto YeHoVaH, shall be thine. Everyone that is clean in your house shall eat of it. Everything devoted in Israel shall be yours. Everything that opens the matrix in all flesh, which they bring unto YeHoVaH, whether it be of men or beasts, shall be yours. Nevertheless, the firstborn of man shall they surely redeem, and the firstling of unclean beasts shall they redeem. And those that are to be redeemed from a month old shall you redeem, according to your estimation, for the money. Now, there are people who want to think that money hadn't, well, if we're going to give, we're supposed to give produce. When's the last time you brought produce as an offering? Well, they were agriculture people. They tithed of the produce. Yes, they did. Where's yours? Where's your first fruits from the barley? Where's your first fruits from the grain, from the grapes? Where is it? Well, we aren't agricultural people. Oh. So does that now eliminate you from first fruits? You see, because here he says, in order for you to redeem the firstborn, you got to pay 5 shekels after the shekel of the sanctuary. What sanctuary? See? The Holy of Holies, the holy place, that's the sanctuary. This is Numbers. This is not Kings. There is no temple, ladies and gentlemen. So they're not only bringing produce and grain and flocks and herds, they're redeeming things with money. So you can't redeem the firstborn with your crops. You have to bring some silver. And you have to bring a certain amount of silver. Well, what if we don't have silver? Then you sell some of that grain. You sell some of that flock. Doesn't say this here. But he gives specific instructions on what they are to produce, what they are to present, and tell them how much. But the firstling of a cow or the firstling of a sheep or the firstling of a goat you shall not redeem. They are holy. You shall sprinkle their blood upon the altar, and you shall burn their fat for an offering made by fire, for a sweet savor unto YeHoVaH. And the flesh of them shall be thine, and the wave breast as the right shoulder are thine. All the heave offerings of the holy things which the children of Israel offer unto YeHoVaH have I given you, and your sons and your daughters with thee, by a statute forever. Now notice, it wasn't just the priest's sons that were able to eat from the holy things. Now, we don't necessarily see the daughters serving, but the daughters had a responsibility to live according to a certain standard as one who is part of a priest's household. She had standards of who she could marry and who she couldn't. Fathers got standards, folks. It says, have I given you and your sons and your daughters with thee by a statute forever? It is a covenant of salt forever before YeHoVaH unto thee and to your seed with thee. Here are the instructions on bringing the first fruits. And these are very clear-cut instructions. Deuteronomy 6:26, verse 1. And it shall be when you come into the land, which Jehovah your Elohim gives you for an inheritance, and possess it, and dwell therein. And you shall take of the first of all the fruit of the earth. So this wasn't just the grain, it was everything that was produced. Father says you were to take a first And you are to bring of the land which you shall bring of your land that YeHoVaH your Elohim gives you, and shall put it in a basket, and shall go unto the place which YeHoVaH your Elohim shall choose to place his name there. And you shall go unto the priest that shall be in those days, and say unto him, I will profess this day unto YeHoVaH your Elohim, that I am come unto the country which YeHoVaH sware unto our fathers for to give us. And the priest shall take the basket out of your hand and set it down before the altar of YeHoVaH. You shall speak. Now there is a profession of faith. You shall say before YeHoVaH your Elohim, a Syrian, ready to perish, was my father. You see, Abraham was not a Hebrew. Abraham was a Syrian. And he went down into Egypt and sojourned there with a few, and became there a nation. Where did Abraham become a nation? According to this, he became a nation. He went down to Egypt with a few people. When he left there, he had a bunch, including a concubine, and became there a nation great, mighty, and populous. And the Egyptians evil entreated us and afflicted us and laid upon us hard bondage. And so now he's tying the Passover to first fruits, which is part of anyway, Pesach, Feast of Unleavened Bread, first fruits, and laid upon us hard bondage. And when we cried unto YeHoVaH, God of our fathers, YeHoVaH heard our voice and looked on our affliction and our labor and our oppression. And YeHoVaH brought us forth out of Egypt with a mighty hand, and with an outstretched arm, and with great terribleness, and with signs, and with wonders. And he has brought us into this place and has given us this land, even the land that flows with milk and honey. See, this whole profession is designed for us to reflect on what the Father has done. Not what he did yesterday or just day before yesterday, but what he did all the way back to the day he brought us out of Egypt. That's going back. See, if we always are able to reflect on what the Father has done, it is a stark reminder of what he's capable of doing. If he can deliver you, and this is why, David understood this. David reflected when he was about to face Goliath. He reflected on every opportunity where Father showed himself, and by reflecting on what Father had done, he had full confidence of what he was going to do to that uncircumcised Philistine. Oh, you coming down today. Now, David's brothers are cowering. They're hiding. They are trained. They are warriors. Fear, trembling. But see, David didn't have enough sense to be afraid. He lost his mind for God, for YeHoVaH. He did that in worship. David would be out there worshiping, talking, fellowshipping, hanging out with the animals, just serving by worshiping and pouring out his heart. He knew what the Father could do because he reflected on what the Father had done. Has he done anything for you? How many times have you been in a place to where you didn't think that you would make it? How many times have you thought about over the course of your life, you have felt like giving up the towel? See, the thing about us is that we forget a lot of the stuff that Father did, but we remember all the stuff that people did. Everybody that's hurt us, we got a memorial for them. They have a sacred place in our spirit. We carry them around. They burden us down. And then you try to remember, well, what did the Father do for you? You remember that time when you thought you weren't going to make it? You remember that time when you thought, okay, everybody has turned against you and forsaken you? You remember back in the day when you just felt like killing yourself, committing suicide, throwing in the towel, giving up? You couldn't find a job. Things were just going horrible for you. Remember all those times you didn't know where the money was going to come from to pay this bill or to pay that bill or to eat this or to eat that? Remember that time you were so sick you thought you were going to die? You remember all those things the Father brought you through and how right now you are able to rejoice in Him when at a time in your life you couldn't rejoice? You remember what He brought you through and what He brings you to right now. Let me tell you something. What He's going to do is even greater than what He's doing right now and what He has ever done, because He knows the plan that He has for you. He's got great work for us, but you can't forget. And so the Father, over and over and over, YeHoVaH didn't have a complex about who He is. Remember the Lord now. Remember YeHoVaH. Remember. Don't forget. Why? Because you'll forget. Well, I don't need strings to remember. You don't? Well, if you don't need strings to remember, you've already forgotten. Because it's not about what you think you need. See, lean not to your own understanding. Well, why do I need to wear these things with a blue thread in it? That's it. That's it. Why do you need to not lie? Why do you need to not steal? Liars and thieves are going to the lake. You see what I'm saying? So He gave us these things to remember. We are inundated by the world. I remember for a long time, like some of you all, I used to hide them. I wear them, but I didn't want people to see them. Come on, can I get at least one or two witnesses in here? Nobody ever hid their seats? Oh, all y'all just wear them boldly. Okay, maybe y'all don't. I used to hide them. See, I'm in hanging around with business people, folks who got a few dollars, and I don't need to be looking like, okay, why you got them strings hanging from you? See, especially around all them Christians, them Christian businessmen. The moment they associate you with Judaism, they hang you out to dry. That was my understanding. And I would rationale, well, He didn't say you had to wear them outside. He said wear them. Other times I ball them up and put them in my pocket. Y'all don't mind me being honest with you. Because it was an embarrassment. I knew what the word says, but these was an embarrassment. Now, I know many of you've never felt embarrassed by serving the King. Especially after you've been beat up and abused and accused of all kinds of stuff that you are not guilty of. I'm not trying to take people under the law of Judaism, but I'm a Judaizer, they call me. They tell me I'm cursed. They tell me I've fallen away from grace. And now you got these ridiculous strings hanging from your side. What's wrong with you? You see, Father will make you look foolish. But the foolish things of the Father are designed to confound the wise people of the world. See, the things of YeHoVaH seems foolish because the world in his own eyes are wise. There is a way that seems right to man, and that's a world's way. I'll tell you, there's times fathers asked me to do stuff that just was ridiculous to this mind. Some of you've heard me, told me, you need to tell your wife you've been unfaithful. No, I don't. No, I don't. Oh, yes, you do. No, I don't. Yes, you do. She's already left me. How that's going to get her back? That doesn't make sense. She don't trust you. That's why she left. And the reason why she don't trust you is because she know you've been lying all these years. And though she haven't been able to prove the lies, in her heart, she knows. You know how you know you don't have the right answers when people give you answers? Just like we talked about earlier, and some of us become masters of lying. He says, you need to come clean. That's what walking in the light will do. You see, people who walk in darkness won't come to the light for fear that what they did in darkness is going to be exposed. In him is no darkness. If you're going to serve me, you got to come clean. Because you live in a glass house. People, how many of you know somebody won the lottery jersey, and already they just found out that he's wanted for child support. Now it's like the moment you get a little bit of recognition, and here's what the enemy does, especially, let me just throw this out at you. Now let me finish this. I think I'm almost done. And now behold, I have brought the first fruits of the land, which you, O Lord, has given me. And you shall set it before YeHoVaH your Elohim and worship before YeHoVaH your God. And you shall rejoice in every good thing which YeHoVaH your Elohim has given unto you and unto your house, you, the Levites, the strangers that is among you. When you have made an end of tithing, all the tithes of thine increase the third year, which is the year of tithing, and has given it unto the Levite, the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, that they may eat within thy gates and be filled. Then you shall before YeHoVaH your Elohim, I have brought away the hallowed things of mine house. What's the hallowed things? The tithe and the offerings. Those are holy. And has also given them unto the Levites and unto the stranger, to the fatherless, to the widow, according to all your commands, which you have commanded me. I have not transgressed your commandments, neither have I forgotten them. I have not eaten thereof in my mourning, neither have I taken away aught thereof for any unclean use, nor given aught thereof for the dead. But I've hearkened to the voice of YeHoVaH my Elohim, and have done according to all that you have commanded me. Look down from your holy habitation from heaven, and bless your people Israel, and the land which you have given us, as you swear unto our fathers, a land that flows with milk and honey. This day YeHoVaH your Elohim have commanded you to do these statutes and judgments. You shall therefore keep and do them with all your heart and with all your soul. You have avouched YeHoVaH this day to be your Elohim, to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes and his commandments and his judgments, and to hearken unto his voice. And YeHoVaH has avouched you this day to be his peculiar people, as he has promised you, and you should keep all his commandments, and to make you high above all nations, which he made in praise and in name and in honor, and that you may be a holy people unto YeHoVaH your Elohim, as he has spoken. You see, the Father has called us to be holy. The tithe, the offerings, they are holy. And he's commanded us to give those things which are holy to him, that he may give it to whomever. And in this particular case, he gave it to the priests. He gave it to the Levites. You see, folks, I believe in my own life, and I believe that those who honor the commands of the Almighty have every right, just like the people in this statement, verse 15 says, look down from your holy habitation from heaven. Bless your people, Israel. Bless the land which you have given us, as you swore. You swore. See, when people give their word, we have every right to hold them to it. And that's exactly what they're doing. They say, listen, we've done what you asked us to do. Now, we've done our part. You said. There are too many people who are saying, you said, but they haven't done. You see. Father doesn't have to honor you if you don't honor him. He really doesn't. He is not obligated to do anything for anybody other than what he wants to do. But he has made some promises. And there were times when he said, listen, there is nothing greater for me to swear to, so I swear to myself. And the people says, now you remember, you swore. This is how Moses kept YeHoVaH from killing them. He says, now wait a minute, you said that you can't do that. That's going back on your word. And if you do that, the world is going to say, you see, they're going to say you're not true to your word. Why should anybody believe you if you don't do what you say you're going to do? When people lie to you and they don't do what they say they're going to do, especially if you've got a contract with them, if you've got an agreement with them, if they borrowed money from you and they said they're going to pay it back on a certain day and they don't do it, and then they talk about coming back and borrowing some more. You do business with people whose words have value. People whose word don't mean anything. Let me tell you something. If a person's word means nothing, a contract is not worth the paper it's written on. Father says, if you vow a vow, you hasten to perform that vow, lest that vow returns void. You don't want to, because the Father says it is better for you not to vow a vow than to vow a vow and break it. Are you with me? Your word should mean something. If you say you're going to do something, then you need to be like the God you are. You need to watch over that word to make sure nobody ever say you said, but you didn't do. You are made in the image of the Almighty. You are his ambassadors. You are his representative. And to me, I believe that the hand of the Almighty should rest upon you in such a way that everybody who knows you know that you serve the one true Elohim.
For more information, visit www.arthurbaileyministries.com or call 888-899-1479. House of Israel International Services is made possible through financial contributions from brothers and sisters like you. Thank you.